There we go. What's going on, guys? Mark back here with another video. As you can read from the title, this is going to be the fourth film project review and ultimately what its fate is going to be. So, again, for the fourth time in a row, I only had two other participants aside from myself that decided to go through with it, to do it, or whatever. And yeah, there's just no other participants. So, you know, it's really hard for me to justify continuing to put resources into something if it's just not generating, you know, any activity. I want to be able to do things for everyone, but I just can't allocate that amount of time. So, I mean, you know, there's like two of you. And while I love you so much, Donnie and Dave, you guys are the only ones that seem to actually like to shoot film on a pretty regular basis. So I know that, you know, when we shoot film, there is some nostalgia, but you almost have to be old enough, I guess, and almost have to have had a previous love affair with film in order to, I guess, get into it. Because when these newer guys, when they started trying to get into it, I mean, it's a difficult process. I mean, you don't get any immediate feedback. You're not able to see if you even got the shot correct. So for a lot of people, it can definitely, you know, put you off a little bit. So anyway, we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. I'm going to try and pull up the chat right now. That way I can actually talk to you all. Live chat, there we go. So anyway, the project this past month was called Intentional Camera Movement. And for a lot of photographers, that goes against what we are taught to do instinctively. You know, you want to have everything stabilized. You want your camera stabilized, monopods, tripods, stabilized lenses, stabilized camera bodies, all that other kind of stuff. You just don't really want to move your camera on purpose very often. But when you do, when you actually make a conscious effort to take your camera and move it in a way that introduces motion into the frame, whether it be, you know, holding it still and letting motion pass through the frame, or whether you intentionally take the camera and move it, you can create some really interesting and amazing things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all my images first before I showcase Donnie's and Dave's, since this is kind of like farewell, I guess. Okay, so this is my first image. I created this image, and while, you know, a lot of what I try to do with my images, of course, most of you all know that I love to shoot black and white. I absolutely love the texture and the graininess and the tonality. But I do want to admit that I did kind of sort of cheat this month, and I wouldn't really say cheating, but I did edit my photos. So when I got them back digital, I did manage to mess around with them in post, and you know, I like them. So I decided to go ahead and mess around with the digital files. You know, generally I don't get my film back nearly as fast as they get the film scanned in, and then I can play with them, at least with the digital copies. So anyway, this was one of my first shots. This was obviously a mailbox in post, but what I was trying to do is, I love, and this is just me personally, it's just something I like to do creatively. I like to take very stark, very dark objects and contrast that with really, really bright skies. So this gave me the perfect opportunity because of the very slow shutter speeds that we were going to be using. It was going to be able to blow out the sky no matter what I put in front of it. So I happen to really like that look. It gives it a very ethereal look. It gives it a very mysterious or ghostly look. So what I did for most of these shots is I put my shutter speed down around, you know, 8 or 4, and then I to be perfectly honest with you, I did not use any filters whatsoever. I did not use an ND filter. I just cranked the the aperture all the way up to 22 stops, and or f22, and then I just slowly drug the shutter. Now on a fourth, you can do a little bit more motion than you can with an eighth. You'd be surprised at just how fast you can take a picture and not be able to drag your photograph with only an eighth of a second. So there was a few times that I tested out at a fourth of a second, and they just didn't turn out as well. But like I said before, with film, you never really know for sure exactly how it's all going to turn out. So this is my next image. Again, I like the very ethereal stuff when I do shutter drags, and combine that with my black and white love and all the grain and all the texture. It's just something I really, really like. So, you know, to some people it may not appeal, but this is just those artsy-fartsy type of techniques that you can use to create something that you normally would probably just throw away. But when it's intentional, when you mean to do certain things, when you put it out there in this fashion, you seem to find more beauty in those different compositions. You change the strokes, you change the way the camera behaves on purpose, and I think you end up making something that you can go back and look at and just go, damn, that, you know, that's amazing. It really should probably be up on the wall or something. Anyway, it just gives you a different perspective on your photographs. And so here's my last one. This was actually of just like this stark branch, and I was holding it up into the sky. I didn't get the deep contrast that I wanted, but unfortunately, the sun was behind me, so it helped brighten up this side a little bit more, and I was out of film. So there was no way for me to, you know, rotate around this anymore and compose differently. But, you know, it was my own fault, but I ended up really liking it just for its wispy, I don't know, personality or whatever. And I thought it was really kind of, I don't know, there's just something really neat about this. But when I did edit this photograph, I ended up going through and I sort of darkened it up, and I wanted to try and add a little bit of contrast. Unfortunately, because of Ilford HP5 Plus's grain structure, you absolutely cannot, for whatever reason, push it too far digitally, or it starts to make it look hyper artificial. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you started maybe planning on printing the stuff out. If you try and print this stuff out, man, it's just going to be really, really bad. So, all right. The first photographs that I'm going to show you all from the people that actually participated this month. The first one is from Dave Oppelinger. I absolutely love these shots that he took. He took two that were fairly similar, and I really do like these. Maybe it's just that color. Generally, I'm not like overly excited about color, but for whatever reason, I absolutely love this. And he wrote a nice long email, which unfortunately I'm not able to read. But one of the suggestions that he had in there was maybe getting together this month for the solar eclipse. Well, I happen to live directly in the path. I'm about an hour and 45 minutes north of where the path is going to cross over where I live. And so I thought, you know what, maybe a good idea. I'm going to be down at Lake Malone. So if anyone is interested, if you happen to be in Kentucky this month, the solar eclipse is going to be August 21st. I'm going to be hanging out at Lake Malone doing the damn thing. So yeah, so this is his shot. Sorry, I messed that up. This is his shot. I absolutely love the colors, Dave. I mean, I know that you were probably experimenting your ass off, and you probably didn't really know exactly what you were going to be pulling off, but I say that it worked. I absolutely love the colors of this. So, fantastic job. This is the second image that he took. Sorry, I'm using that new Switcher Go app. This is his second one, and I love this too. I mean, it's essentially the same thing, but, you know, whatever you were doing, I don't know if you had it on a slider or something, because the lines on here are really, really straight. Either that or you were just dropping that camera really, really fast. And to be able to do that and make sure you maintained your focus or your non-focus, as the case may be, and then still being able to pull off the shutter pull. I mean, these lines are almost like super nice. I mean, there is like that slight little wave in there, but that could be just, you know, the profile of the grass or something. I don't know, the color and the texture, I just think this they're absolutely gorgeous. So congratulations, Dave. You did a fantastical job. And then the other ones that I had were from Donnie Monster. And Donnie Monster, God love his soul, he creates some just really cool stuff, and I give him mad props for actually giving it a try. This is not the hardest, or this is just about one of the hardest things to do. When you're working with film and you have no immediate feedback as to what you actually got, and you're having to control the shutter and everything else. So anyway, here's his first shot. Obviously, this was a lens zoom, and I'm not exactly sure what his shutter speed was or how fast he was having to turn this. But, you know, this is the kind of thing that you can look forward to when you want to do shutter drag shots with your film camera. You know, there's not a whole lot of work or effort that goes into it, but the process of doing this thing and doing it via film is what makes it challenging. Now, if you were doing this, you know, with a digital camera and you could just constantly, you know, retake the shot over and over and over again, yeah, it's pretty damn easy, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And that's the reason I suggested that anyone that wanted to practice on their digital camera. If you do that, if you did it on your digital camera and you got a base general idea of what you could expect when you started using your film camera, you could probably save yourself a lot of film, a lot of accidents. So anyway, this was Donnie's first shot. This was Donnie's second shot. I don't know what it is about this. This almost looks like Impressionist painting to me. It almost sort of feels a little, I don't know, Van Gogh to me. And to think that this was taken like in camera. You know, if you had added, you know, just a little bit of something extra, if you were, you know, if Donnie had actually taken this shot and maybe run it through a program or something to add some artificial brush strokes or, you know, just something, this really could have been a Van Gogh. Like, this is, I absolutely love the colors. I know that he told me what film he used. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't read it at the moment. Well, actually I can. Hang on. He used, this is what Donnie used. And I apologize. I'm a little ill prepared because I wasn't actually going to read them on the air or whatever, but so he says that my first pics were of the flower, which is this one right here, of the orange flower in my own back garden, as it happens. Exposure was set to 15 seconds. The lens was a kit 18 to 55, focused manually on the flower at 55 millimeters focal length. And he says that he incidentally, this lens incidentally has a 10-stop ND filter on the lens and allow my 15-second exposure at f/38. That is just crazy. Next, I shot the trees at a fairly straightforward process. Aim and then let the camera shift up or down for the effect. I went to a nearby park and did some zoom type shots and also some slow sideways pan, long exposure type shots. So, you know, that just gives you all a general idea of how exactly the process works. But yeah, man, Donnie, this one really is an amazing shot. So excellent work on that one. Let me pull up your other one here. I loved this side-to-side motion shot that you did. Again, I love the colors. I love the colors, okay? And I am not a color guy at all. Like, I am generally not all that drawn to artsy-fartsy style photographs unless they're black and white. So I'm still looking for the film that you actually used. It says here, okay, as I said, as previous, I used my trusty Agfa Vista 200 plus 24 exposure film. Well, I might end up having to pick up some of that film. Donnie, seriously. For whatever reason, I really, really like the colors that come off this film stock. I've never used it before, so I think I may end up having to pick it up. So, let me swap back over here. All right. We do have some people in the comments, and I really do want to thank both Donnie and Dave for taking these film projects serious, and for having the willingness to try something different, to push themselves, to actually experiment, to actually make something from nothing. To use film is to challenge yourself as a photographer, and so I want to thank them. I really do. You know, a lot of people, they're not all that interested in film anymore, and while I can't say that I don't blame them, because it can be a hassle, it's a total pain in the ass, but I think it makes you a better artist. It makes you a better photographer. It makes you genuinely compose better, pay more attention to where the light was, how it was hitting. That's the reason old film photographers, they had to take notes. If they really liked a location and they really wanted to get a specific shot, they had to know what time of day that they took the shot that was no good, you know, and they had to say, well, I wish it was a little bit more, you know, on the right side of the subject or whatever, and then they'd have to go back the next day at that time of the day and try and get the shot that they were looking for. So yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But what it does do is these small rolls of film, they make you work. They make you try harder. As a photographer. And while I am really happy that Donnie and Dave decided to participate, I'm really a little disappointed that not more people wanted to. Like I said, I know it's a pain, and it's not always the cheapest activity to have, and not everyone has more than enough time for more than one hobby, and digital is sometimes more than enough for most people. But unfortunately, I think this is going to be the last one. I know that I said that I wanted to continue just for us, but I am more than happy. Dave, Donnie, whenever you happen to watch this, I think Donnie's in chat room. Yep. How you doing, Donnie? If you guys want to continue taking photographs with film, just let me know. You know, and I will just try and do like a, hey, this is what the film crowd did this month. So it might be something general like this where we can all sit down, you know, view your photographs and talk about them. But I'm not going to put out any more photo assignments. It's just not working out. So if nothing else, maybe we can start doing just assignments or photo projects, and anyone with any type of camera can do it. Obviously, the competition will be much stiffer if you decide to continue to use film and they're using digital. They've got kind of an unfair advantage, but I will be more impressed by yours when they turn out good. So, anyway, let me read some comments here real quick. Michael Way says, it's okay that is farewell. You introduced me to film, and I love it. I'm just not good with schedules. I appreciate you for doing this. Michael, I understand. I totally understand. And that's the reason why with film, you know, you've got roughly about, when I put out a project, you've got roughly about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maybe more like 2.5, and then you got to send your film to a lab. And then if they are not busy and not backed up, you might get it back in about 7 days, which puts you right there at the deadline for a full month. So yeah, I know that it's kind of hard to keep up with. I don't blame anyone for, you know, not wanting to do it, really. Let's see. Eric Mark says, I might come shoot the eclipse with you. I have to see how far of a drive that is. That would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're only in Georgia, so I think you're probably about, I'm going to guess 7 to 8 hours, depending on how far north in Georgia you are. So, yeah, you come on up, man. We'll hang out at Lake Monroe. I know you like to hike and stuff. I'm a long-distance backpacker and section trail hiker, so, yeah, we can make it happen, brother. Donnie says, poop, that pic looks familiar. Yeah, man. Don't be bagging on your photos. Both you and Dave took a dump on your photographs this time. In both of your all's emails, when you all wrote to me, you all were like, "Oh man, this was not a good month for me." So I thought it looked great, man. You guys don't give yourselves enough credit. So, yeah, and Donnie did confirm that it was the Agfa Vista. It's basically Fuji C200 film. And now I have to figure out which one's cheaper, because I really like Fuji's color. But that Agfa is something nice. It really is. Says, you're right, Mark. The project was a total pain in the arse. You made me work hard. Well, I didn't make you, because I sure the hell didn't make anybody else, because if I had made people do it, there would have been hundreds. Of course, the hell you say when it comes to those, that many submissions. I would just probably want to kill myself. Donnie says, no worries, sounds good. I still shoot film as part of your digital products. That's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope. Yeah, because I've still got several rolls of film. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I still got 6 rolls of film left. And I'm still going to shoot it. So I really enjoy the whole process. I really enjoy the texture and the exact way that the Ilford HP5 renders. So for me, it's because I can't get the same look out of anything, whether that be the Fuji, my Sony's, fake profiles, fake grain, and all that. I just can't get that same level of texture as I can with the actual original Ilford HP5, the Delta. There's just something different about the way film does from digital. So, you know, there may come a day when a lot of you that didn't participate, you're going to see different pictures or something made with some film, and you're just going to like, I love that look. How do I get that look? And the only way you're actually going to be able to get it is to actually shoot film. So there. That's for you, buddy. All right. So anyway, you guys did a fantastic job. I'm really glad that I got at least one more photo project out of you guys. But I'm just going to call it a day. I'm still working on some other videos involving the iPad Pro and the pencil and all that kind of stuff. Unless you all have questions or comments. And then I'll stick around because I really don't want to get back to work so soon. Even though I'm always at work. But yeah. Oh man. Says I'm having some issues, but it doesn't look like it. So if I'm crapping out, that sucks. But if not, it was good talking to you guys. All right, you guys be awesome. I will talk to you all in a future video. And if you all have any questions about shooting film, leave me a question, drop me a comment. I am available almost all day. I try to get back to most comments, if they're reasonable, in a very, very timely manner. So if you have questions about film or you want to start doing some projects with us, let me know. I will be more than happy to welcome you on board. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I will see you guys again on the next one.